I speak to you today not just as a pilot, but as someone who understands the profound trust you place in us every time you board an aircraft. The sky is my office. Safety is the foundation of my profession. On June 12, 2025, that foundation was shaken by a terrible tragedy. Airindia Flight AI171, a Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner, was lost shortly after taking off from Ahmedabad. It was bound for London, but its journey ended moments after it began. This event resulted in the loss of 242 precious lives. It is a day of immense sorrow for our nation and for the global aviation community. My heart goes out to every single family member and friend who lost a loved one. Words cannot possibly fill the void left by such a sudden and devastating loss. As we grieve, questions naturally arise. People want to know what happened. They want to understand why. It is my intention to walk you through some of the possible factors that accident investigators will be looking at. I will do so using simple words. I will not speculate or lay blame. The purpose is to offer clarity, not to provide answers that only a thorough investigation can deliver. We must approach this difficult subject with the utmost respect for the victims and their families. It is also a time for deep reflection within our industry. Every accident, no matter how painful, carries with it lessons that are written in the language of data and evidence. These lessons are what allow us to continuously improve and make air travel safer for everyone. Our commitment to safety is absolute, and it is in times like these that this commitment is tested and strengthened. We owe it to those who were on board AI171 to learn everything we can. This essay will explore several areas that investigators typically examine. An aircraft's engines provide the thrust needed to take off and fly. They are the powerful hearts of the machine. Therefore, any investigation will begin with a very close look at the engines. One possible cause of an accident is an engine failure. This can happen for many reasons. A part inside the complex machinery could break, metal fatigue, a manufacturing defect. While modern engines are incredibly reliable and undergo constant checks, a mechanical fault can, on very rare occasions, occur. A failure is most critical during takeoff when the aircraft is low, slow, climbing steeply. Pilots train extensively for an engine failure scenario. A large twin-engine jet like the Boeing 787 is designed to fly safely with just one engine. However, the sudden loss of power from two engines at the same time is an extremely rare and serious emergency. This is called a dual-engine failure. Investigators will meticulously examine the engines recovered from the wreckage. They will look for signs of internal damage, fire, any indication they were not producing power. This analysis will help them determine if one or both engines had stopped working before the impact. Another factor that can affect engines is a bird strike. Airports are often located near areas that attract birds. While airports use many methods to scare birds away from runways, strikes can still happen. A small bird might cause little to no damage. But a large bird, a flock of birds, being ingested into an engine can cause significant damage to the fan blades. This can lead to a loss of thrust, a complete engine stall. Investigators will examine the engine parts for any biological residue to confirm if a bird strike was a factor in this tragic event. Finally, the data will show how the engines were performing. The flight data recorder, or black box, logs hundreds of parameters. It records engine rotation speed, temperature, fuel flow, the thrust they were producing. The role of the pilots is, of course, central to any flight. Investigators will carefully and respectfully analyze the actions taken inside the cockpit. It is crucial to state that this is not about finding blame. It is about understanding the situation the crew faced. In the cockpit, there are many switches and controls. One of the most critical sets of controls are the fuel control switches. In a Boeing 787, these switches have a run position, a cutoff position. Moving them to cutoff stops fuel flow to the engines, causing them to shut down. The preliminary report has indicated these switches may have been moved from run to cutoff. This is a very serious piece of information. The investigation must determine exactly how and why this happened. Could it have been an inadvertent action? Was there a mechanical malfunction? Was it a response to another, more serious emergency? Pilots are trained to shut down an engine if there is a severe fire. The cockpit voice recorder will be vital in providing context. Remember the immense pressure pilots can face in an emergency. Events can unfold in seconds. What seems clear in hindsight is often confusing in the moment. The pilots of AI171 were experienced professionals. The investigation will look at their training records, recent flight history, and health. This is standard procedure. It helps build a complete picture of the human factors involved. The aim is to understand the decisions and reasons behind them, not to judge from an armchair. The cockpit voice recorder captures all conversations and sounds inside the cockpit. It records pilots talking to each other and to air traffic control. It also records alarms and changes in engine noise. This recording will provide invaluable insight. Did the pilots declare an emergency? Did they discuss a problem with the aircraft? Were there any warning sounds? Listening to these recordings will help investigators understand what the crew knew and what they were trying to do to save the aircraft and passengers. Beyond the engines and the pilots, investigators will look at the aircraft's other complex systems. A modern aircraft is a network of computers, sensors, mechanical parts. One area of focus is the fuel itself. The fuel is the lifeline of the aircraft. If the fuel is contaminated with water, other particles, it can clog fuel lines or damage the engines. This can lead to a loss of power. Strict procedures exist for checking fuel quality. Investigators will take samples from the fuel supply at Ahmedabad Airport used to refuel Flight AI171. They will analyze the samples in a laboratory. They will review the airport's fuel handling and storage records. Parts of the aircraft's fuel tanks will be examined. Filters will be checked for foreign material. Fuel contamination is rare, but must be ruled out. Every flight depends on clean, high-quality fuel. Another possibility is a technical malfunction in other systems. A faulty sensor could give incorrect information. That wrong data could reach pilots, or it could reach the flight computers. A wrong reading for airspeed or altitude can cause incorrect actions by either the crew or the automated systems. The Boeing 787 is highly automated. Its computers play a huge role in managing the flight. A software glitch or a hardware failure could create danger if not corrected in time. The aircraft's maintenance history will be scrutinized. Aircraft undergo regular scheduled maintenance checks. Those checks are recorded in detailed logs. Investigators will review the entire maintenance history. They'll focus on recent repairs or reported issues, engines or flight control systems. They will ensure maintenance was done correctly and no outstanding issues remain. Accidents are often the result of not one, but a series of problems happening together. Investigators call this an event chain or a cascade of failures. It is possible that a single technical fault was compounded by another factor. For example, a minor engine issue, an unexpected weather event could combine to create a much more serious situation. A technical problem, a human error in response can also combine. The challenge for investigators is to identify each link and understand how they connected to the final outcome. External factors must also be considered. The weather at takeoff is one such factor. Investigators will analyze detailed weather reports, satellite imagery, radar data from around Ahmedabad Airport on June 12, 2025. They will look for unusual weather phenomena, wind shear, sudden change in wind speed, sudden change in wind direction. Strong crosswinds, microbursts can be particularly hazardous during takeoff. The airport environment itself will be examined, debris on the runway that could be ingested by engines. Another area is the interaction between the pilots and air traffic control. Recordings of communications between the flight crew and control tower will be reviewed. Did the crew report any problems? Were the instructions from the ground clear and correct? This is standard procedure to ensure that all procedures outside the aircraft were being followed correctly. Usually these communications are routine, but investigators must ensure no stone is left unturned. Finally, investigators must rule out sabotage or unlawful interference. This is a standard security protocol. In the aftermath of a crash, you will hear a lot of talk about the black boxes. These are two of the most important pieces of evidence for investigators. They are not actually black. They are painted bright orange to make them easier to find among the wreckage. The first is the Flight Data Recorder, the FDR. This device records hundreds of different parameters from the aircraft's systems. It tracks things like airspeed, altitude, heading, position of the flight controls, performance of the engines. It is like the aircraft's memory. The FDR provides a precise second-by-second timeline of the flight. From this data, investigators can recreate the aircraft's flight path and understand exactly what it was doing. They can see if the plane was climbing as expected, if it banked suddenly, or if its speed dropped. This data is objective and factual. It allows engineers to analyze system performance and compare it to expected behavior. Digital reconstruction is fundamental to understanding the sequence of events that led to the crash. It will show what happened, even if we don't yet know why. The second device is the Cockpit Voice Recorder, the CVR. This device records all the sounds within the cockpit. It captures the pilots' conversations with each other and their exchanges with air traffic control. It also records automated voice alerts, the noise of the engines and switches being moved. The CVR provides the human context to the FDR data. It helps investigators understand what the pilots were aware of, what decisions they were making, and what challenges they faced in their final moments. Together, the FDR and CVR provide a powerful, detailed account of the flight's final minutes. Analyzing this information is specialized work that takes time. The data must be carefully downloaded and synchronized. The audio must be filtered and interpreted. The recorders are built to survive extreme impact and intense fire. Finding them and retrieving their data is a top priority for investigators. They hold the key to unlocking the truth of what went wrong aboard Flight AI171, providing facts where there is only speculation. The investigation into the crash of Flight AI171 will be a long and complex process. It is being led by India's Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau, the AAIB, with assistance from international bodies with assistance from the aircraft manufacturer. These are dedicated professionals whose only goal is to find the truth. It is natural to want answers immediately, but we must resist the urge to jump to conclusions or believe rumors. Quick answers are often wrong answers. We must allow the investigators to do their work without pressure or prejudice. They will release their findings when they are certain of the facts. For the families who have lost their loved ones, this period of waiting is unimaginably difficult. To them, we offer our deepest sympathies and our support. The most important thing we can give them is a commitment to a thorough and transparent investigation. The final report will be a public document detailing the causes and contributing factors of the accident. It will form the basis for learning and for change, ensuring that such a tragedy is less likely to happen again. Every accident is a lesson. The history of aviation is a story of learning from failures to build a safer future. From this terrible event, lessons will be learned. They may lead to changes in pilot training procedures. They may lead to modifications in aircraft design or maintenance protocols. They may lead to new safety regulations. These lessons will be the enduring legacy of Flight AI171. They will become part of the fabric of safety that protects millions of passengers who fly every day. This is how we honor those we have lost, by making the skies safer for everyone. In closing, let us hold the victims and their families in our thoughts. Let us place our trust in the investigative process and wait patiently for the facts. As a pilot, I share the skies with you, and my commitment, and that of my entire profession, is to your safety above all else. We will learn from this tragedy, we will improve, and we will continue our relentless pursuit of making air travel the safest form of transportation in the world. Let us wait for the official report, listen to the facts, and support each other through this difficult time. Thank you.